Ahita introduction. For she was called Ahita because she had many reasons to keep hope alive. Ahita. Across a beautiful landscape sits a small cottage. Two dogs running round the basement and children sit playing on the turf in the front yard. The door that leads to the Victorian house looks old, the knob hanging in the air. Dirty and rusty windows marked everywhere. And the woman sits quietly in a tiny rusty chair at the front entrance, her face pale as she overlooks the serene sight. But nothing to behold about her. The busy children pay no attention to her. Crossing mothers barely stop to say hello. Her husband left 12 years ago. I bet he had enough. Who would bear the stench and sight of blood everywhere? For she had been diseased for that long and bore no child. Doctors said her womb was ruptured. Some said it was an infection, but all believed she was cursed. Poor Ahita, oh poor Ahita, once rich, now can barely feed. Who cares about food when all you do is bleed? Poor Ahita, no sons, no daughters, no husband. She rose up with two dogs, a pain-stricken buddy, and a broken heart. If death was around the corner, Ahita would have embraced it. But death, even death, had stayed away from her, lest it be cursed too. Who says death is not afraid of death? But she knew, oh she knew someday she would be new. 12 years had passed, and though her face looked pale, her face never worn. Though her days seemed grey, her name never changed. For she was called Ahita because he had many reasons to keep hope alive. And her hope did come alive one day, for the master took his journey in town, and she heard of his good heart. He was a keen man, never denying a sick child. Poor Ahita had no reasons to be tired to faint. She had seen many doctors, but she knew he was no such. For she thought, if only I could but touch his cloak, I would be made whole. With no neighbor to help, Ahita crept to the scene and found many a crowd. So many she couldn't count. Her faith didn't fade. She pushed, forged, begged to pass, but never stopped. For she knew, if only I could touch the hem of the master's cloak, she would be wholesome. She did touch. The crowd never saw. But the master knew it all. Oh, how amazing to feel the touch of faith. Oh, what a wonder to be seen amidst the multitude. The fountain of blood dried, and Ahita cried. This time she cried for joy. The curse of Ahita had been broken by the power of the master, and she owed no man a dime any longer. She crawled to the scene, but now she could run to the field. The master was not done with her, for none had ever stolen virtue from him. For that he asked, "Who touched me?" Amidst his sullen friends, she humbly came and knelt at his feet. "My name is Ahita, for I have been cursed for 12 years," she said with her head bowed down. The master couldn't resist. Who can resist so a great fate? With a cloud of tears in his eyes that wouldn't fall, and a haven of smile, the master placed his hand on her shoulder and affirmed, "Go home, my daughter. The curse of Ahita is broken. Be whole again."